usually do Final Cut Pro X tutorials, but today, for those of you who don't have it and are wondering if they should buy it, this is for you guys. So, Final Cut Pro is pretty great, but there's a few features that they could have added. Color correcting is very good on this. They didn't need to change that at all. You can color correct very well. Another thing is the magnetic timeline will really help you guys out. For those of you who have been using iMovie and kind of more consumer products, Final Cut Pro X is not actually, like, as far as interface, it's not much different than iMovie, really. But it is a lot more professional than iMovie, and there's a lot more features in iMovie. I had to buy Motion 5 with Final Cut because Motion 5 had masking and it also had motion tracking, which they should have added into Final Cut. They pretty much just like split them up, which wasn't very good or wise of them, but I would have liked to see those two features in Final Cut. If you want to use those, you're going to have to buy Motion 5, which is an extra $50, but oh well. And Final Cut is priced at $300 currently on the Mac App Store, which is, I think they could have dropped it down to $250 probably. Just $300 is a little bit much for what it is, but well, when I first bought it, it was 3 years ago, and I didn't think it was good, but now over the updates, I think it's worth $300. Back when I bought it, it probably wasn't. And it's priced at $300 on the Mac App Store, and you can download it. It takes a little bit time to download, but oh well, it's worth it. So let's jump into the review. Okay guys, so here is Final Cut when you first open it. You're probably wondering, what is all this stuff? So this is how you import your media. If you click on it, you can get all your files, and this is the magnetic timeline. If we just drag a random thing in here, like that, it will automatically jump to the front. If we add in something else here, and you want it to go over here, it won't. The only way you could do that is if you drag it up here, which isn't up to the second layer, or down here, the bottom layer, and then you could drag it wherever it is that you want. But you would have to add a gap here. So everything here's the effects. A good thing about owning Motion 5 with Final Cut is you can make your own effects for Final Cut, which is super useful because a lot of plugins online you can make in Motion 5. Actually, all plugins online you can make in Motion 5. It just takes a while, but most of them are pretty expensive, so I would just make my own. You could create effects for Final Cut, transitions for Final Cut, and titles for Final Cut, which is pretty useful. That's the good thing about owning both of those softwares together. So there is a lot of effects here. Most of them you're probably, I have to admit, never going to use because they're pretty useless. I have to admit. But some of them are very useful and I use them a lot. Some of them I use sometimes, you know. The keying in Final Cut is very good. You could key clips very easily. And the sound effects, yeah, Final Cut comes with a bunch of sound effects, which are extremely useful. Actually, they have quite a lot of sound effects. And jingles and stuff like that. Transitions, there is a variety of transitions. Again, most of them you're probably never going to use. But, you know, there's the basics, cross dissolve, you know, stuff like that. But still, they're pretty useful. Titles, most of these actually you probably will use because they're pretty good. And yeah, the titles are very good. They offer a lot of, like, let's just drag one in. Okay. They offer a lot of, here we go, customization. You could customize the drop shadow, glow, outline, face, alignment, all this stuff, which is very useful. And then here generators, which I don't find all that useful. Textures can be useful, definitely. Elements, shapes really is the only one that I use. Backgrounds, these are useful. And yeah, so that's the generators. And here are themes, which I don't think I've ever used once, ever. But anyways, let's get into color correcting. So I'm gonna import media. So let's find some media. Okay, that one's fine. Import. And here we have that. Before you couldn't do multicam editing. Now you can, actually, by going into window, and then there's all sorts of different types of windows you can add. But yeah, you could definitely customize the layout a little bit, not completely, but yeah. Let's put this into our timeline. Okay. So here it is. But you can add a shape mask if you would like. So just say the car you want to make brighter because it is kind of dark. So mask is inside, exposure you could turn up the exposure, and if you wanted more color you could do that. You can do a lot actually, or you can make the outside kind of darker, decrease the saturation, so that way all that's left is the car, kind of. Oh yeah, you could also do color, so anything that is red, or no, it's probably not a good color. Anything that is white, which, yeah. Oh, you guys get the point. This probably isn't the best clip for demonstrating this tool, but yeah, you guys get it, I think. You could add more than one color correction. Just by going to this plus, it adds a second correction. And yeah, you can balance color and match color to another clip if you want. You can stabilize your images by, where is it? I don't think you have this option for videos. Here, let's try to get a video. So file, import media. There we go, stabilization. So if we just play this clip without sound, well, it's kind of, it needs to render, so let's wait for that to happen. Just make it less crowded. I really don't use stabilization that often, because if I want stabilization, I will do it while shooting. I don't know how well it works. Let's try it. So if we play this, it is pretty shaky. So this would be the type of clip you would want to do that. So stabilization, unless you want it shaky. Translation, rotation, scale. Yeah, everything. Just make it smooth. Analyzing for dominant motion. Okay, let's see. It's still analyzing, so I'll get back to you guys when it's done analyzing. Okay, guys, it's done analyzing, and you can see that it's zoomed in, obviously, to stabilize. So let's take a look at what it looks like. It did stabilize it pretty well, except it zoomed in quite a bit. Let's look at it without stabilization. And I guess it zoomed in a little bit, but that is, yeah, I just wouldn't do that. You could also stabilize in motion by motion tracking, which I bet works better than the Final Cut version of stabilizing. But, so, yeah, there's a few features here, you know, obviously crop, rotation, but there is distort, I was about to say transform, which can be useful sometimes, actually, which is kind of like 3D, a little bit, kind of, sort of. But, anyways, let's just go back. And almost every effect in Final Cut you can keyframe, which is useful a lot, actually. There's some cool effects here for titles. Like, you could add this to a title, make it cool. You can make some pretty cool titles by layering some of this stuff. Yeah, but some things you'll probably never use, like fisheye, because usually you want to get rid of fisheye, not add fisheye. But so yeah, there's a lot of audio effects as well. Quite a lot. I usually don't use them because I have no clue what they do. I'm not an audio person, so they're kind of simple, but like adaptive limiter, I have no clue what that is, so I never use them. Even if I did know what it is, I probably wouldn't use them anyways. Oopsie, didn't want to do that. Audio, you can enhance audio, turn the volume up and down, obviously. So yeah, that's about it for Final Cut. Yeah. Would I recommend it? It just depends on what you're looking for. If you're doing compositing, like super special effects and whatnot, I would probably not recommend it. This is not for special effects. This is just more basic editing. If you want to go into the special effects, you know, roto work, I would go for After Effects. It is pretty expensive, but definitely worth it. If you don't have that much special effects, I would then move over to Motion. Surprisingly, a $50 software is better than a $300 software, which is kind of sad. But I would rate Final Cut as 4 stars out of 5 because the 4 stars, I didn't add 1 star because they didn't have motion tracking or masking. It's not that they couldn't do it, because they added it in another software that they made, so it's obviously not that, but yeah, I don't know why they didn't add it. They could have charged like an extra $100 probably if they added those, and I would have bought it because motion tracking is super useful. Masking is even more useful. You can mask in Final Cut. There are some masks, just like square masks, so not like Bezier tools you can mask out, but yeah, that's about it for this video, and I'll catch you guys later.